Hey guys, this is Todd from the Our Sword Bible blog, and what I've got for you today is a secret message in the Bible to the Church of Laodicea. Okay, if you don't know about this, I can't think of something more relevant for today because in Revelation chapter 3 you can see that the message to the Church of Laodicea is a message to the end time church, the Christian church that will be around when the end comes, when Jesus Christ comes back. And it's not a pretty picture. It's a lukewarm church that thinks it's rich and has need of nothing, but in actuality is wretched, miserable, poor, blind, and naked, as Revelation says. A quick overview in Revelation 2 and 3, the Bible, Jesus gives these three messages, or these messages, these characteristics of 7 different churches, which were real, literal churches in the apostolic times, but these 7 churches were chosen to represent the 7 church ages from the birth of the church in Christ's day all the way through to Christ's second coming in the history of the world. So, the last church, of course, is the Church of Laodicea. And God picked these churches because there were characteristics of the actual literal churches in Asia at that time, in the Middle East, characteristics that were aligned with the characteristics of the Christian church in whatever part of history they were chosen to represent. And of course, Laodicea's characteristics, like I just said, are her lukewarmness and her arrogance, pride in thinking that she is rich and has need of nothing, and being unaware of her true spiritual state, wretched, miserable, poor, blind, and naked. So, that was the state of the actual church of Laodicea, and that is the state of the spiritual church of Laodicea, or the Christian church when Christ comes at the end. So, there is counsel for that church here in Revelation 3, verse 14 through 22, but more than that, if you turn to the book of Colossians, General Electric Power Company, Galatians, Ephesians, Philippians, Colossians, General Electric Power Company, that's how I remember those. Colossians and chapter 4. Colossians in chapter 4. And we're going to see a hidden message. If we are Laodicea, then this counsel is for us. Colossians chapter 4 and reading verse 16. And it says, Now when this epistle is read among you, see that it is read also in the church of the Laodiceans, and that you likewise read the epistle from Laodicea. Do you see what Paul says here? He says, this message that I've sent to you, you Colossians, this message is entirely appropriate for the church in Laodicea. Read this to the Laodiceans. And the message that I sent to the Laodiceans, you get and you read there at Colossae. So, the point is, the same issues that the church of Laodicea was having were the same issues that the church, that the Colossians were having. So, the churches were similar enough so that Paul would say, by the way, this letter that I sent to you, make sure Laodiceans read it because it is exactly what they need to hear as well, and it deals with their issues as well. And the letter that I wrote to the Laodiceans, you read because you are also struggling with the same issues they are. And so, because there is such a marked similarity between the Colossians and the Laodiceans, that their letters would be interchangeable, then it would stand to reason that we, who are the church of Laodicea, the Christians that are now alive, the lukewarm Christians, the arrogant, prideful, self-righteous, lukewarm Christians. We should be reading the book of Colossians, and that will apply directly to us. So there you have it. If you didn't know, Colossians 4:16. Now, when this epistle, the epistle of the Colossians, when this epistle is read among you, see that it is read also in the church of the Laodiceans. That's us. Spiritually, that's us. And that you likewise read the epistle from Laodicea. We don't have the book of Laodiceans. We don't have that epistle. So this is what we have. And this is what you should read. If you are part of the church of Laodicea, if you are a part of the end-time church, the lukewarm church, which if you say you're a Christian, then you most certainly are, then this book of Colossians applies especially to you. So make sure that you read that and gain the blessing that God has put there for you. Okay, have a blessed day.